Hello everyone, Matt Paul here, coming at you on, broke out my old handy cam. I'm going to do a video today. It's going to be on one of the items I got over the Christmas holiday. It is the MOB Wireless Man Overboard system by Fell. Real quick, I got this because sometimes the lanyard, you're restricted to that 6 feet, and when you're on a long boat, that lanyard doesn't lend yourself well to moving around and fishing, so to speak. I will say that I'll probably still be hard line to the kill switch running because it's instantaneous, whereas if you fall overboard, whereas this, you got to get a little distance before it kills kills the engine anyways while at speed. This is also bypassable. You hold it for 10 seconds to override it, and you can turn the boat and operate it like it is. So we're going to get into it and go ahead and do the unboxing, if I can get into it without a pair of scissors. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, here is the medallion, and it looks like it takes a watch battery. And then here is the actual unit, and looks like I'll have to get a hole saw to put it in the console. You also have to mount this relatively close for the wiring harness, if I'm not mistaken, where your kill switch and your switches are. I will say that I don't know how this would work with the engine that's set up for twins. Since I run a single Yamaha 250, it should be pretty good. But pretty much you got to get a hole saw that fits the cylinder there, and then this plastic nut will tighten up, and then there is a gasket here that seals up on the console. Going next into the box, we should have, and I'm dropping stuff. There's the, let's see, a little notification that says read all the instructions first. This looks like the battery for the back of the medallion. Now also with this unit, they make a wristband Bluetooth that's basically built-in medallion, whereas this you'd have to wear in your, I guess you'd put this in your pocket, and I've seen some where they people have had it on lanyards around your neck. They also make the wristband, and I would also recommend, before you go out on it, at least every 6 months to a year, is checking it, putting your, I dropped something. Put your boat on the earmuffs and start it up, and then just walk away from the boat and see if it starts. Excuse me. See if it kills the, start the motor. See if it kills the engine. That's just little 2 minutes to do that, to check your stuff, because if you're out there and you need it, if you haven't, don't need it, you're gonna be singing that tune. So anyways, I got down into it. Here's the wiring harness. Here, as you can see, it may be 12 inches long, so it's gotta be, this has to mount close enough to looking at it, you guys need to see it. This needs to mount close enough to your switch, your kill switch, original kill switch unit, in order to tie in everything. And then here's some splicing butt connectors, and I believe this is going to be mounted in a series connection with the kill switch. You also have an antenna, because this is a wireless. Obviously you're going to need it's got a broadcast signal that goes to the medallion here, and it just, there's a little piece of foam, looks like, over the threads, and it just screws on the threads in the back there. But that's pretty much all we have. I'm going to heed this warning. You can see it. Read the directions first. So I'm going to go read the directions, and we're going to get all the tools squared away, and we're going to see if we can put this bad boy in today. So bad boy, good boy, in today, and we're going to go from there. So with that, I'll see you guys shortly, and we'll be in the boat. Alright, Matt back again. I hope everyone's doing good. I got boat in the shelter. It's been a nasty day outside. I'm doing things a little bit different. I broke out my old handy cam and I'm going to see how the video quality and audio quality. Been having some difficulty with file transfer on my GoPro through my iPad and whatnot. Trying a different video editing software. And going to try out the old handy cam, so to speak. And I apologize for the lighting because it's just poor in here. Like I said, we're getting ready to put on the Fell wireless Man Overboard switch. I just wanted to point out that I didn't do so a minute ago, that I'm not personally endorsed by any of the brands that I recommend, however, or I suggest. However, if you look in the description below, I'm going to have some, I don't know if there'll be clickable links because I'm still so new, but there are going to be some links to the tools or similar tools and the product that is going to be in this video. If you happen to click on that, I'll get a small percentage of the link click. So with that, it'll go to help my channel, help better give a better user experience. And again, I wanted to point out that I thank you for tuning into my channel, and we'll get started here with this install. Thank you. Alright, the first thing we're trying to do is figure out a location on where to put this thing. I would say that right there next to this key and switch would be ideal. However, and I need to get it. And I got my cheap Black & Decker drill, but however, I don't know what would be a best way to get that in there without taking my steering wheel off, and I just assume not take this steering wheel off. I can try tilting it back up, but it's still not going to be able to put me where I want to go in what I feel like my ideal position would be. And I apologize for the camera. The only other option is I could put it up here underneath my display for my Simrad Go 9, which, you know, what's coming out to be, and I think that is going to be the best spot for it. It'll be up here quick if someone sees it. Like I said, I think it's going to be the best spot. And I also got my light, and I checked in under here. Also got my cover pulled off, but it's fairly clear right here if I were to do that. See, down there by the steering wheel it wouldn't work, and then over there by the throttle would be the next. Actually, I didn't see the fuse box right there, so where I thought the ideal place would be is not the ideal place. The fuse panel's in the way. The next spot would be over there between the switch and the throttle. However, it's going to be kind of tight right there. It's looking like right here it's going to be where we're going to have to do it. Now, of the things you need a drill, obviously. That's my cheap Black & Decker. But you're also going to need a hole saw. Now, it calls for in the instructions a 2 5/16 hole saw. The problem is they don't make 2 5/16 at Lowe's. So what I ended up getting was a 2-inch. And what I'll have to do, if it's, I'm thinking that the 1/16 of an inch is for the thread depth on the Fell switch. Basically, when you pull the nut off the threads, or so whether or not we could thread this in here, and you got my belly, whether or not we can thread that in the hole, or what I might have to do is go get a Dremel and route the hole out just ever so slightly, just wide enough to get this in. And I would think that the Dremel may be the better option. So we're going to get this laid out. I'm going to see if I can get some tape or something and get that hole done. And we'll be getting on to this here in a minute. Thank you. Alright, I went ahead and chose my spot, and I got my hole started. Now, one of the things you need to do is not rush it. Now, I know a lot of people like to put tape, and they may raise the opinion that I needed to have this taped off. Yes and no. If I was going, my opinion, if I was going from the inside the console out, this would have more of a chance of splintering. Still may splinter, but one of the things I'm trying to do is just go real easy and, you know, not rush it. Don't really force it. And like I said, so far it's giving it a good clean cut. So we're going to keep going. By the way, this is a 2-inch hole saw. Looking at when I put it up to the kill switch a minute ago, it does look like I might have to get a Dremel and kind of make this hole just a touch bigger. I cannot find a 2 1/16 hole saw at Lowe's or Walmart. So, and all the others, I think it's more of a specialty size. So I would, since I'm ready to do this now, I'll just route it out with a Dremel here in a little bit. So we're going to get to this hole. There it is. There's a little splinter up on the other side. You will notice I got gloves on. This is fiberglass. I just didn't want to have little fiberglass pieces in my fingers. Like I said, I'm going to probably have to be cut. Now, let me see if I can get the camera loose. When I was talking about splintering, you see on the inside, that's where it's splintered up. That's what you would have if it was not taped up on this side. I know with like through-hole connections, actually, you'd probably be better off to go watch Fish on Fortes with through-hole, because he does a good job drilling through the hull of his boat with a hole saw. But this right here, I said I'm gonna just get a go get the Dremel now and route that out a little bit. I'm gonna get this fiberglass dust out the way. And I don't want to put it on the floor, because then it'll get in my scuppers. I'm going to put the camera down, cut it off. I'm going to wipe it into my hand and put it in the trash can at the back of the shop. So with that, we're going to go get that Dremel, and then we'll keep working on this little hole. Alright, there you have it. A little bit of Dremel action. And we got that puppy sitting right there. I left this area open in case I wanted to add something in. Also, we got to remember, we got to keep it in close proximity to the kill switch and the key. So with that, there is this nut that goes on in here. I took my extension cord for my light. I plugged it into the Dremel. I just got to unplug it, put my light back in there. But I'm going to have to put the camera down. Fortunately, I won't be able to videotape that because I need both hands, but we'll get this tightened up. Now, there's also a little, I can get back out, there should be a little rubber gasket right there. You need to make sure that that goes on the outside or the exterior of the console. And it's tight fit. You got to get it square when you get it in there, or it just doesn't want to seat down right. Yeah. It was great a minute ago. Now I can't mess it. Let me put the camera down. We'll be. I'll get this nut on, get this in, seated down right. Then we'll get into wiring this bad boy up. All right, I had to pull the switch back out. One of the things I got a problem with, and I didn't realize it till I started tightening up, the finish in the console here is real rough. You see that burr right there? when I started tightening down with my plastic nut, what it started doing was kinking up or cocking the switch up where it was elevated on the bottom, and it wasn't pulling it flush against the outside of the console here, so it had a gap trying to open up on the bottom because of that. So what I'm going to have to do, the only thing I got to really sand that down is that Dremel. So I got to plane it down and make it a little bit cleaner. So that's just a little mild set. This project was going too good, so it's a little setback. So we'll get it. We'll get it. Alright, that little bit of sanding on the inside, look, that's just about as flush as I can get it. And it's in there good. I can't turn that. So you go ahead and tighten it down. As you can see, I had to sand that little bit of finish down to get it flush. So I'm going to move some stuff around, climb in here. I got to go get my wire cutters, and we'll get to us. Alright, I'm having a little bit of trouble getting this camera set up in here, but one of the things that I noticed is going to be difficult. What it says in the instructions that this is going to be in a parallel, I think I said series at the start of this video, but it's supposed to be in like a parallel circuit, and it's supposed to have the in and out going to the kill switch there, and then going to the X hub, which was the base unit that we just put in, and that's the gray, excuse me, black and white and black. Well, up here off the kill switch, there's a black wire and a white wire, but you can only see that there may be 1.5 inches that I can get in there and work with, and I got a lot of other stuff that's kind of zip tied in there. I had to take my buzzer off of this little piece right here, which freed up some room. But just seeing how this is in a parallel circuit as well, there's probably a way you can bypass the kill switch on that as well. Going to have to do a little thinking on here to try to get this to match. Obviously, on the original wiring harness, the red and black go to your battery. What we're going to use is the orange and the gray, and then the blue just goes to nothing. So we'll just put a female connector on it to dead in it. So, but I gotta sit here and think how I want to do that right there. So with that, and those are, so there's quick connectors there. We'll see. I thought about just going ahead and doing a splice piece in there, but that's going to be not going to give you much room. So I'll figure it out and we'll go from there. Alright, what I think I've deduced what I have to do now is, what I'm going to have to do is go get a little bit of wire and one of those splice connectors, and what I might have to do is just make a jumper over to the quick connectors that they call for in the instructions, because there's just, with 2 inches of wire, I was looking at it, there's still not enough. If I clip it and do like they said, one, I can't get in there and work. Two, that by the time I splice, there's just not enough slack in the wires there, the way it's configured, to route them in that parallel. And then these connectors are so tiny that it says put the 2 wires in there. I can barely get this little 14 gauge, no, that's not 14, it may be 16 gauge stranded wire, even just one in there, without having to do some modification to it. So I think it may be easier just to go, or maybe what I got to do is do that little splice with a jumper and then come over to it just to give myself some slack. And it should effectively, in theory, do the same thing. So, you know, it's worth the shot. Anyways, I'd much rather do that, because then if it doesn't work, I haven't screwed up my kill switch system. So we'll go with that, and I'll be right back. Oh, I got to go run by the hardware store, so, or auto parts. All right, after my quick trip to the hardware store, I've had a my power cable here. Got the line fuse here. It's got a fuse in it. What I did is I tied it in. I had a few spots in here for other things on my board here, so what I ended up doing was tying it, or just overlaying it on my autopilot. Figuring that it wouldn't have this thing wouldn't have a lot of draw on it, so I'm going to go ahead and wire in the power. Also, make it be a good idea if you made sure that you had your battery disconnect off, because you don't want to have any shorts in here because the power's still hot. Anyways, what I decided what I was going to do is I got some line splices. And what I'm going to do is splice in a line, and then I'm going to put the disconnects on a little jumper. And I just made my jumpers about 6 inches, 4 to 6 inches. And the reason why I decided to go that route is I got to thinking about the circuit, and I'm going back a few years, but I think I remember in my circuits class in high school that you typically have, now one of the things, and let me back up, and I don't know why my suction cup keeps falling off, so bear with me here, but like I said, I'll put it up here on this, maybe that might be a better view of it. But going back to my high school circuits class, I think we're for a parallel circuit, which this is, that you have, or going back to circuits in general, you either have a circuit that's always open or a circuit that's always closed. And I believe that this kill switch is an always closed circuit. Or excuse me, it's the opposite. It's an open circuit, which means when you close it, it sends the signal out to kill the engine. And that's the only way it makes sense to running in parallel, because it's looking for a completed circuit. So depending on which kill switch makes the completed circuit being in parallel, that's how the whole thing works. So if I just do a splice on it, it's basically the same thing as what the detail shows in my diagram here. So I'm just finishing up with the power, and what I'll put when I put my cover on, I'm going to have to find a spot to wad it up, and I'll probably wad it up here. All right. Oh, drop stuff. Anyways, we're doing these little splice connectors on, and then I'm making a jumper. So we'll go from there. Now these also are covered. One of the things I will say, I'm kind of putting these jumpers in reversed so I can make sure that they are down in this clip when I go to crimp it down. So if it was faced the other way and I didn't have it in there good, I would see if it would back out. Another thing is trying to get my pliers in here to get this thing crimped. It's been fun, to say the least. So that's why I was saying I don't think there would have been any room to get the other thing in there. So this was the only way I could figure to get in here. Well, I could get this thing done. Anyways, now I got my jumpers. I don't know if you can see them up here with all this other mess that's in the way. So I have to bound this back up because I pulled it loose a minute ago so I could see. Actually, I think I knocked it out with my hand. But anyways, got my jumper here, and my black and my white. And I'm just getting my butt connectors there hooked up on my switch. And we'll hook them up. Let's see, orange to white, and that's white. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's look at my orange to black. I misspoke. And green to white. And this is white, and that's, excuse me, white to gray. Yeah, white to gray, which is that is. I was looking at the instruction, make sure I got it right, and then that to there. And I got my power. I thought I was done. I went through. I didn't have a good crimp right there on that ground, so I got to find my screwdriver. And we'll pretty much have that wrapped up. As far as the wireless Moab or Man Overboard switch, it's got a little wireless Bluetooth antenna right there that we're going to put on right there. Going to wrap all this stuff back up and get it looking pretty, and we're going to pull this thing out and test it out and make sure everything works. We're going to do the setup on it, and we should be good to go. Alright, it's getting dark, but I apologize on the video quality, but it's getting dark. Got back to the house, had to run around find the earmuffs to put on the water hose for the boat. Got in the console, got the wire wrapped up, put the canvas cover, or the I guess it's like vinyl coated fabric, and we're going to go ahead and put power on this guy. And you can see it's beeping at us. Came on, did a pre-check, is what it looks like. I need to tilt my motor down. And then the next thing we're going to do, we're going to get the medallion out. I know it's in here. That's my camera bag. I'm sorry about the glare on that light. I wonder if we got any better light here. We'll play with lighting a little bit. That's a little better. Sorry the video's grainy. Anyways, here's the medallion. Like I said, I've seen them on lanyards and they got a wristwatch, but I guess this one would go in your pocket. I don't know why I'm getting my phone out. Have it. Then you're going to go through the directions to set this thing up. I will say that the directions were pretty straightforward. The only thing that I was I had to go get some more butt connectors. They didn't tell you that they got a clear blank one to go on that blue cable. That doesn't work. That doesn't go into anything on a Yamaha system. I also had to get some extra connectors to make it work, and then I had to do splicing and the jumpers. So according to this, you would just take and put the battery and the backing in this medallion. If I don't cross thread it, and this should pop, there's only one way it can go, so I thought it was threaded, but it tells you open and close on the back. I didn't see that a minute ago, but we're going to not get it with that key. I'm gonna have to go get a screwdriver. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Got this thing going. Alright, real quick look at the directions. What they say to do is hold this for 3 seconds, and the blue light should come on to pair. And you hold the fob down for 3 seconds. And I guess she's paired up. Now, stop pod. Alright, I'm going to go turn the water on, and I think green means go. Yeah, it says 2 long beeps, a green light, 2 long beeps, 2 short beeps means that the fob is paired up. So that's what we had. I'm going to go turn the water on, and we're going to see how, and start the motor and see if this thing does what it's supposed to do. Alright, so I was having a little trouble. I don't know what happened. I ended up just going through, couldn't get my motor to start, so I went ahead and checked the override to see if there was something on there. Got it started, cut it off, tried repairing this again, or the fob again. I believe it's paired. I'm going to see if that's correct. I don't know, chunk it out in the yard or what. They say that, I don't know, we'll find out. So bear with me, we're going to step off the boat. Well, that was weird. The only way I got it to cut off is I pushed the button. So I don't know if this thing's pairing or not. Alright, that shows it's in override mode. Let's turn this bad boy, cut power. It's going through its check. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Alright, everything should be paired. Well, tells it it's in cutoff mode. Don't know. Alright, dummy me, need to read the directions again. Alright, so we're going to start up. Once you pair it, you cut everything back off, and it's going to come up and do its boot up. Then you hit your medallion, and when you got that one blue light that the stop fob is listed, it should start. There we go. All right. Now, according to this, it stops the engine kill switch either with the button, and it killed it, or, and I'm just going to reset it by turning it off and back on, or by immersion or submerging in water. So I gotta get this thing wet for it to run. There might be a mud puddle around here somewhere, so we're going to start up. Seems to be working. I'm going to jump out here. Might be find a bucket. Let's see. There's a bucket. A little bit of water in there. Well, it got wet, but nothing happened. I do know it's remote. Well, I guess I'm gonna keep working through this. All right, after conferring with the directions again, the fob needs to be in over 4 inches of water. So I got my bucket here. We'll see what happens. Well, still not going. So I don't know. But I guess it's better than an alternative. I would say when you're riding around, you still need to be hardwired to this lanyard. So it's interesting. Verifying that it's doing everything. Just reading over through it again. Don't know. It's a conundrum. Well, we'll try it maybe with another medallion, because I like to get the wristband portion, but that's what we got. I'm gonna cut it off so we don't conserve fuel. Hope this installation video has helped everybody out see the trouble. It's probably going to be raw data. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.